everybody, welcome back to the arcade. Today we got another special game. This is Forgotten Worlds by Capcom. I think it's the first CPS-1 game ever made. It cost just about $5 million. I'm pulling that from a Todd Tuckey fact and from the Clav forums. But it's a really rare game. You don't see many of these pop up. I've never seen one for sale. The one I did see for sale was actually not a dedicated cabinet. It had a different control panel that was hanging out, and the control panel was right, but the cabinet was a different kind of dynamo, so it stuck out. Anyway, I remember this game on the Genesis. I never played it on the arcade. I never liked it at home. I never liked it on the Genesis or any of the home console versions I played. And the reason is the controls are super awkward. If you had a 3-button Genesis controller, you had to push one of the buttons to move your gun in a circular motion. The special thing about Forgotten Worlds in the arcade are the controls, which I think this is the only game that ever used these controls, which is a big reason it's really rare. Not so much the cabinet, and I think the boards are, I mean, they're rare, but I've seen them, you know, pop up here and there. But it's the controls, and why are they, you know, they're like an Arkanoid spinner. They're a spinner, but you actually push the spinner down to shoot. And if you double tap it, it'll do a special attack. So it's a really unique control scheme, and that's what makes it special. It gets super addictive, you know, moving your character around. It's almost kind of like Defender in a way. You're dodging bullets, and just the controls really make this game. Also, the arcade version has better graphics, better music, more stuff going on in the background, better animations. Just as a whole, it's better than the Sega Genesis version, obviously. But compared to other Genesis ports like Strider or Golden Axe, I feel like this one isn't as good. Maybe that's because it was earlier than those other games. But like if you play Strider on the Genesis, it's really good. Same with Golden Axe. But this one, you know, for whatever reason, largely because of controls, it doesn't hold up as well. And I know a lot of people love it. And how I got this is, so I didn't find this, it wasn't listed for sale anywhere. The deeper you get into this hobby, the more people you meet. I was contacted by a friend of mine who is also a collector, and she just contacted me last year and was like, hey, I'm selling Forgotten Worlds. And I was like, okay. Why are you telling me this? And she's like, well, you know, if you're interested. And I said, well, of course, you know I want it. And I don't, you know, was this on my original list for arcade games when it came up, when I started getting into this hobby? It wasn't. But as I got into the hobby, you start hearing about certain games and how rare they are and how cool they are. And so last year I went to Galloping Ghost before I was offered this game. And I played it, and I remember thinking, oh, I get it, man. I understand why that's so cool, just because of the controls. And so, you know, you get a text like that, and it's like, well, you either jump on it or you don't. If you don't buy it, you're never going to see another one again. Not always the case, but, you know, I kind of feel like if you pass on it, that's it. You know, just don't expect to see another one. And so I worked out a deal, and I bought it. And it took 9 months to get it here, because the original deal was she was going to bring it to me herself, but I ended up just shipping it out because, you know, I paid for it and I didn't want to wait any longer. I also bought gapless because when you're going to ship stuff, you know, it's better to ship in twos. It's a little bit cheaper. Anyway, that's how I got this game. It's a really cool game. It reminds me kind of Strider. I have Strider as well, or Ghouls and Ghosts. Same type of graphics, same type of music because it's CPS-1. And it's really cool, and you've probably already played it on the Genesis, but if you ever get a chance to play the arcade version, it's definitely better, and you should try it. So let's check out some gameplay. Alright, so real quick, another interesting thing about Forgotten Worlds. The left player, he's got a different weapon than the second player. So the left player, he's got like a long-range weapon, and the right player's got like a spread shotgun type weapon. So it really does make a difference in which side you're using and which weapons you want to choose to upgrade. Anyway, let's check it out.
Did you find the guy? I'll finish you today for sure.
Also, you can pick up these blue orbs, which give you money, and Forgotten Worlds has a shop where you can buy upgrades, which is unique for this game. I don't know if it's going to hurt this guy though. I get to clear the whole screen.
The war god really died. No doubt about it. The king of gods must be saying his prayers now.
Alright, so let's get a close-up of Forgotten Worlds here. So, standard Dynamo Cab. The game does not have free play, so we got a coin up button there. And here's the unique controls. We got the Capcom stickers there. So these, see how they kind of glow like that? When I bought this didn't come with these. They came with like a slightly smaller knockoff that wasn't, maybe it was for Arkanoid or something. It wasn't meant for this game. And I found these on Clove. These are reproduction spinners for Forgotten Worlds. And just the spinners, I mean, it was pretty expensive just to get these reproductions, but they're hard to find. And the stickers are reproductions too. Those were not expensive, but you know, how many people were remaking these? And then we got the original bezel art, which is, sorry, pretty cool. And the story, of course, which is, you know, integral to enjoying the game itself. Original bezel, or marquee, sorry, and side art. Alright, so here we got the bottom, the other side of the control panel, and so you can see these unique joysticks. And I've got white lithium grease sprayed on them, so if these are making a noise or they sound a little crunchy, just spray some white lithium grease on it. Other than that, it's a standard game, but these controls really make it unique. And there's the board in there, which you can't really see, but it is a standard CPS-1 board, and that's it. Alright, so there you have it. Another really cool game that we've got here, Forgotten Worlds by Capcom. You know, obviously, Capcom's made some of the best games ever made. This one, I think, was more popular on consoles. Of course, everybody I bring this game up to, they talk about how much they loved it in the arcade. I never got to play it in the arcade, at least that I remember. Anyway, it's a really cool game. If you ever get a chance to play it in the arcade, go for it. It's probably going to be at some of the bigger barcades in your city if you have it. You know, if you can play it, of course you can play it on MAME, but if you play it on MAME, you've got to adjust the buttons to do the spinner unless you've got a spinner on it. It's not as good without the spinner, I hate to say. It's a totally different game with these controls. And it's worth playing. If you like games like Strider and Ghouls and Ghosts and those type of games, it's like that. It's like that mixed with Life Force, and it's a really cool game, or R-type. Anyway, you should check it out, and we'll see you on the next one.